Number 6 on this list was in 40 million American kitchens by 1955. By 1980, it had been systematically removed from every store shelf in America, not because it stopped working, because it worked too well. Number 3 was made by a company that had been building the same thing in the same Ohio town for 70 years. The day they sold the brand, the formula changed overnight. And number 1. Number 1 sat on your grandmother's counter and outlasted 3 stoves, 2 refrigerators, and 4 presidents. The one you can buy today with the same name on the box will not last 5 years. 8 things, every one of them built to last. Subscribe now, because we're just getting started on the America worth remembering. Your grandmother's pressure cooker sat on the back burner like it owned the kitchen. Heavy aluminum, a locking lid, a weighted valve on top that rocked and hissed when the pressure built. You could hear it from the other room. That sound meant dinner was coming. The universal pressure cooker was made by Landers, Frary, and Clark in New Britain, Connecticut, a factory town that built kitchen tools the same way Detroit built cars. For keeps. A universal from the 1940s could cook a pot roast in 45 minutes and a whole chicken in 20. Your grandmother used it 3 times a week for 30 years and never replaced a single part. In 1965, Landers, Frary, and Clark was acquired. In 1980, the New Britain factory closed. The brand name moved on. The manufacturing standard did not move with it. Today, the electric pressure cooker market is worth $6 billion. The devices last an average of 4 years. Your grandmother's universal lasted 40. Would you trade the app and the Wi-Fi connection for something that just worked and kept working? In the back left corner of the stove, always the back left corner, your grandmother's cast iron skillet, black as coal, seasoned by 20 years of bacon fat and cornbread, heavy enough to require 2 hands. Griswold Manufacturing made cast iron cookware in Erie, Pennsylvania from 1865. Their skillets were sand cast, then machine finished to a smoothness that most modern cast iron never achieves. What almost nobody knows. Griswold numbered their skillets by size, and collectors today pay $400 for a single pan. Not because it's rare, because nothing made today cooks the same way. The Wagner Manufacturing Company acquired Griswold in 1957. General Housewares bought Wagner in 1969. In 1999, the Erie factory closed. The Griswold name was sold and eventually attached to skillets made overseas with a fraction of the original's weight and none of its finish. The cast iron your grandmother left you will outlast everything in your kitchen. The one they sell today under a heritage brand name is a different object wearing the same clothes. Chrome body, 2 slots, a lever you push down with a satisfying mechanical resistance. The Sunbeam T20 automatic toaster, made in McMinnville, Tennessee. It was not the first electric toaster. It was the first one that worked the way you wanted it to. The T20 sensed the temperature of the bread, not a timer, the bread itself. Cold bread from the refrigerator and warm bread from the counter both came out exactly the same shade of brown. Sunbeam's engineers spent 4 years perfecting that sensor. The T20 went on sale in 1949 and stayed in production for 30 years. Some of them are still making toast today. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. One of these objects just brought someone into your mind. Not the object, the person who used it. The sound your mother made in the kitchen on a Saturday morning. Tell me in the comments who it was. One name, one detail, one memory. I read every single one. Sunbeam was sold, restructured, and sold again through the 1980s and 1990s. By 2001, the company had filed for bankruptcy twice. The T20 was long gone. The toaster you can buy under the Sunbeam name today is a different machine, built to a different standard in a different country. It will not make toast the same way, and it will not last 30 years. Your mother's pots had their place. The small saucepan on the right, the stock pot on the left, the matching lids stacked in order of size. Wearever aluminum cookware, made in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, a town built by the aluminum industry the way Pittsburgh was built by steel. Aluminum Cooking Utensil Company started making Wearever pots in 1903. The aluminum was heavy gauge, seamless, and anodized to resist corrosion and react to heat evenly. Mothers bought a set when they got married and used it until their daughters asked for it. In 1984, Lifetime Brands acquired the name. Manufacturing moved. The gauge of the aluminum changed. The pots became lighter. That sounds like progress. It is not. Lighter aluminum means hot spots. Hot spots mean burning on the bottom. Burning on the bottom means your grandmother's pot roast doesn't taste like your grandmother's pot roast. They changed the metal, and they changed the food. Copper bottom, stainless steel sides. The Revere Ware saucepan sitting on the burner, its copper base glowing orange in the kitchen light. Your mother polished that copper once a month with a half a lemon dipped in salt. Revere Copper and Brass made Revere Ware in Rome, New York. The copper bottom was not decorative. Copper conducts heat 4 times better than stainless steel. The copper bottom heated evenly, quickly, and then held the heat when the burner was turned off. You could finish cooking on residual heat alone. That was not a feature. It was engineering. In 1986, Revere was sold to World Kitchen. The copper bottom got thinner with each production run. By the 1990s, it was thin enough to see light through it. The science didn't change. The thermal physics of copper is still the same. Only the amount of copper changed. They knew what they were doing. That was the point. White with blue cornflowers. Your grandmother's Corningware dish went straight from the freezer to the oven to the table without a second thought. It never cracked. It never stained. It never clouded. Corning developed Pyroceram in 1953 while working on missile nose cones for the United States Air Force. The material could withstand temperature shocks that would shatter ordinary glass. When a Corning engineer accidentally dropped a sample into a furnace on full heat, it survived. That same material became your grandmother's casserole dish. Corning sold the consumer division to World Kitchen in 1998. World Kitchen changed the Pyroceram formula. Reports of Corningware shattering began appearing online. The formula that had survived missile testing did not survive the accounting department. If you find an original Pyroceram dish at an estate sale, buy it. Nothing made today is the same material. Sunday morning in 1958. The General Electric waffle iron on the counter, chrome top and bottom, a cord wrapped in fabric braid. Your father plugged it in. It took 15 minutes to heat. You waited. That wait was part of it. General Electric made the Model 119W waffle iron in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The cast aluminum plates were machined to close tolerances, so each square cooked identically. The chrome housing dissipated heat evenly across the surface. The indicator light turned red when it was hot enough, green when ready. 1 million American kitchens ran on that system every Sunday morning. GE sold its appliance division to Black & Decker in 1984. Black & Decker sold it to Haier, a Chinese company, in 2016. The Sunday morning ritual survived longer than the factory. Your grandfather's GE waffle iron is probably still working. The plastic one in the drawer today has a 3-year warranty. Which one would you rather pass to your children? On the counter, against the wall, your mother's KitchenAid, bowl of polished aluminum, tilt head design, a motor that ran so smoothly you could put your hand on the housing and feel nothing but a low hum. Here is what almost nobody knows about the KitchenAid. The first one was built in 1919 by the Hobart Manufacturing Company in Troy, Ohio, the same company that built commercial kitchen equipment for restaurants and bakeries. The home version was engineered to the same standard as the commercial machine. When Hobart released the first KitchenAid, a factory worker's wife reportedly said, "I don't care what you call it, it's the best KitchenAid I've ever had." They named it that day. Hobart sold the KitchenAid brand to Whirlpool in 1986. Whirlpool moved production from Troy to a facility in Greenville, Ohio, still in the United States, to their credit. But the die-cast metal parts began to be replaced with plastic. The gear systems changed. The motors ran warmer. The KitchenAid your mother bought in 1972 is still running. The one that came out last year came with a warning not to use the dough hook for more than 2 minutes at a time. Your mother's ran for 20 minutes straight every Sunday without a complaint. These things did not wear out. They were replaced before they could. Which one of these was in your kitchen growing up? The waffle iron, the Corningware dish, the cast iron skillet. Tell me in the comments. One item, one memory, one detail about where it sat in the kitchen. I'll read every single one. Subscribe, because there is a lot more of this country left to remember. One more is right here. The rest are in the playlist below. See you in the next one.